There is always that one person in the room. It's the loudest voice, the biggest gestures, the one who seems to demand attention without even trying. Most people assume that kind of energy comes from confidence. They assume the person filling up the most space must have the most to offer. But here is what psychology has been quietly telling us for decades. The loudest person in the room is almost always the most terrified. Not terrified of you, not terrified of the situation, but terrified of being truly seen. That volume, that bravado, that relentless need to dominate the conversation. It is not strength broadcasting itself. It is fear wearing a costume, and once you understand that, you will never look at a room full of people the same way again. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the persona, the mask we wear for the world. But what most people miss is the relationship between that mask and what he called the shadow. The shadow is everything we cannot accept about ourselves, everything we have buried, suppressed, or been shamed into hiding. And here is the critical insight. The mask is always the opposite of the shame underneath it. Always. The person who performs generosity obsessively is often hiding a deep fear of being selfish. The person who lectures everyone about honesty is often wrestling with their own deception. The person who projects unshakable confidence is often drowning in self-doubt. The mask does not randomly appear. It is specifically engineered to cover the wound. Which means if you want to understand what someone is truly carrying, do not listen to what they perform. Look at what they perform and then ask yourself, what is the exact opposite of this behavior? That opposite is almost certainly the shame they are running from. Posturing is one of the most common and misread human behaviors. When someone walks into a room and immediately begins establishing dominance, talking over people, name-dropping, making sure everyone knows their achievements, most observers either feel intimidated or impressed. Both reactions are exactly what the posturing is designed to produce, because intimidation and admiration both keep people at a distance. And distance is the goal. If no one gets close enough, no one discovers what is underneath. The aggression, the arrogance, the performative success, these are not invitations. They are walls. They are carefully constructed barriers designed to make sure the real self stays protected. So the next time someone's behavior makes you feel small or inadequate, pause. Ask yourself why someone who is genuinely secure would need you to feel that way. The answer is that they would not. Security does not require an audience, only fear does. Understanding the shadow is not about diagnosing people or reducing them to their wounds. It is about developing a deeper, more compassionate form of perception. When you stop reacting to the surface and start reading the signal beneath it, your relationships change. You stop taking things personally. You stop being manipulated by performances. You start responding to what is actually happening rather than what is being presented. The person who constantly criticizes others is almost always in tremendous pain about their own perceived failures. The person who cannot stop talking about their success is often terrified that without it, they are nothing. The person who seems cold and untouchable is often the one who has been hurt the most and simply cannot afford to show it. None of this excuses harmful behavior, but it explains it, and explanation is the beginning of clarity. The most powerful skill you can develop in any room, in any relationship, in any conversation, is the ability to see past the performance. Not to be cynical, not to assume the worst, but to be genuinely perceptive. When you understand that every mask is pointing directly at a shame, you gain something rare. The ability to read people not by what they show you, but by what they are working so hard to hide. Stop falling for the posturing. Stop being impressed by volumes. Start looking for the shadow, because that is where the truth lives. And when you find it, you will realize that most people are not as intimidating as they seem. They are just as afraid as you are. They are simply louder about hiding it.